Welcome everyone to the Man in Search of Gold podcast. I'm your host, Eric Mangold, and I'm the founder of Argosy Wealth Management. This is the show where we share ideas, strategies, and history to help you improve your life one financial move at a time. Let's get started. All right, everybody, welcome back, Man in Search of Gold podcast. Today, we are joined by Simon Severino, and I'm really excited. Simon and I have talked to each other for probably a little bit more than a year, just on different concepts and different strategies. And it's funny, every time we have a conversation, it's a really good one. And I know I learned things. I hope he does too. But Simon Severino, he's created $2 billion in additional sales for his clients over the last 21 years. I mean, that 2 billion with a B, 2 billion. As an advisor, he became a CEO, he had to learn the importance of working on the business than in it. And you hear that as a business owner all the time. Are you working on your business? Or are you working in your business? But now what he's doing is he's sharing his proven templates with high ticket entrepreneurs. They reclaim 14 hours per week using the strategy sprints method. That's his branded method of strategy, right? And enjoy the sales that soar. Author of Strategy Sprints, he's a podcast host ranking in the top 2.5%, a TEDx speaker, Forbes contributor, athlete. He's appeared in over 1,300 podcasts. And when he's not supercharging sales, you find him swimming, mountain biking, running, and tricking his 3 kids into outdoor activities so they can't escape his annoying, tricky questions. His latest book, Time Freedom, Applied Leverage for Your Business Breakthroughs, will be available April 21st, and it's going to be on Amazon. We're going to have all the links available when we release the show, so you can find the book very, very easily. But Simon, thank you for being here. Welcome.
Eric, thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
So where did this all start, your work? You were a CEO. So what was your first business venture that started saying, hey, you know what, I think I can do things better?
Being an entrepreneur is hard. This is where it starts. So I'm an entrepreneur now since 20 years. Every year has been hard in a different way. Right now it's hard because of geopolitical events and because AI is changing everything. But you always had something going on right now that made it hard. Right now it's this, and there will be something next. But it's really hard to run a business. So my business is consulting. So in consulting, it's easier because you have high profit margins. So you don't have high capital expenditure. But it's also harder because everybody can say, I'm a consultant. It's just one click away. Everybody can go to the internet and say, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant. And now you have a sea of competition. How do you stand out? How do you become the authority in a niche, in a field, in a topic? Those were the problems that I had to solve over the last 20 years. And so running a business, go ahead.
No, please. I was just gonna say it's interesting. I think with COVID and a lot of the different economic ups and downs, a lot of people, they all of a sudden been in a job for 20 years, and then all of a sudden they're a coach. There's almost like there's been an explosion of coaches, and I think it's a good thing for the most part. But it's also, how many people just became a coach just because it sounds cool and they wanted to say, "Hey, I'm a coach."
Exactly. And so in that situation, right, how do you stand out in that sea of sameness and everybody's saying something and promising something? How do you build a sales process that actually delivers, that does not just promise and maybe deliver, but actually how do you create value in such a situation, right? And so right now, businesses are struggling for different reasons. One is they have to change the way they price because of AI. The other one is some of the things they used to do, now their clients can do on their own. So they have to change their offer. They have to redesign what they offer and who they offer it to. And so for some, this is really disruptive and it feels like the floor is lava and everything is moving. If you've been around long enough, you know that these things happen every 10 years. I had my clients say, you know what, Simon, this part of what I paid you to do, I can now do on my own. Every 10 years, because of technology, because of knowledge, because of upskilling, my clients became more powerful in solving their own problems. And so every 10 years, I had to change my offer and my pricing. But if you are a business owner who is 8 hours a day in client operations, in solving your client's problem, when do you have time to work on your business model, on your pricing? And sometimes you want to have processes and tools that are proven, and you don't want to reinvent the wheel, how to get to the new pricing. So that was the first book, Strategy Sprints, and the method, and our coaching method and our masterminds are all around that. 260 members in the Sprint Club discussing right now in our own app how they will adapt their pricing, their offer in the age of AI.
So you have you have like your own personal group in term through your business that has about 260 business owners, and they're basically trying to share best practices of how they're evolving.
Exactly. So we have our own app, our own private community, and right
Nice.
now they're talking about everything that they need to solve, right? Hey guys, I need to automate my prospecting. Is there anything that works, or will it be slop? Hey guys, should I do cold emails? Because referrals alone is not that reliable and repeatable and quantifiable. Hey guys, I need a better LinkedIn campaign. What's a good LinkedIn campaign? And so they're discussing all these marketing and sales problems that they have to solve, and getting ahead faster together, because when one learns, then they share the knowledge and you can build on your buddies' results already. That's how they get along faster. That's the Sprint Club. It's our own app. We wanted to have that 24/7 because things are changing so fast. So, for example, last week I said, guys, in the Sprint Club, I said, this is a really cool tool to automate boring processes. If you have boring workflows, for example, reconciliation of two spreadsheets that in the end need to just be reconciled. So it's not complex, it's important, but it can be done by a machine. If you have that, this is how you automate it. And I showed them make.com and I showed each automation. I had 17 automations going on.
Wow. Well, right there, I
For
mean,
the
you talk about your efficiency plays, right? Like, okay, if you're getting 14 hours a week back in your work week, you're having all these different processes automated. That's a big win right there to reclaiming some of your time.
we were always big on systems, right? If you
Mhm.
do something once, fine. But if you do it twice, you better have a checklist. If you do it 3 times, you can probably automate it.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay.
And now technology is there. Right now, actually, 60% of my business is automated. But
Hmm.
when we started out, it was just writing down checklists and writing down a 3 sentences standard operating procedure. This is how we do marketing, 3 sentences. And last week I share, okay, guys, these are the 17 automations. I have them on make. And everybody, oh, cool. Yeah, let me go and build my own automations. 19 hours later, I post, guys, this is old news already. Don't build make automations because it's old. Claude Code just released a feature that can do it on its own. So for $20 a month or $100 a month, depending on your plan, you can do it in-house. You just say to Claude, do this every Tuesday or do this every time this email comes in, do this. And so those 17 things, I went to Claude Code and said, please, okay, move them inwards. And half an hour later, we had a major infrastructure decision implemented. Now, let that sink in. If you remember, like a few years ago, if you wanted to change, let's say, to change just where your website is on or your domain, whatever the change, or your CRM, whatever small infrastructure change that you would do would take you months
Yeah.
and would make you gray hair. And the team who was migrating the data was sleeping very badly and working over the weekend. We are in a time now where you just say it and it happens.
Yeah. It's amazing.
That's why we wanted to have our own app, because this thing, they happen so quickly. We want to immediately tag each other and say, oh my God, guys, how do we do this?
Yeah. Do your clients, do they span many different industries? Is it mostly technology? Is it mostly one specific industry?
It's all kinds of industries, but mainly it is financial sector, professional services, IT, marketing, management consulting, and financial advisories, and technology. Yes, B2B software.
So a lot of the strategies and techniques that you're teaching it spans all industries. It's for the most part.
Yes, we have people in foods. They're producing some part of the foods that we eat. So it's really all across industries in these 260 members, but mainly finance, technology, and consulting.
If we take a step back, when you first started out as an entrepreneur, was this your focus or was it something different?
My focus was always management consulting, so helping leadership teams run the ship well.
And then what was your first like experience of saying, okay, you know what? I'm witnessing so many inefficiencies in your consulting work. When did the light bulb go off? Saying, okay, this is something that I could build on to really help people improving their strategies.
My first years, I was sitting in the boards of the Fortune 500 companies, and they were throwing at us, we were a team of people, and that were throwing at us the biggest problems, go to market problems, how to enter with this product, that market, that new market, or in that saturated market, how to stand out, how to regain pricing power because we're losing pricing power. So they were throwing big problems at us, problems that you can solve quickly, problems that you have to uh, cut down into small, workable chunks of work, and then over months build a process to actually solve them. So you had to always to find, okay, which is the bottleneck, which is the part that if we solve that part, we solve 80%. And then after that bottleneck was solved, you had to go to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. And so we became really good in taking these big problems that usually they are market related problems and pricing related problems and pipeline related problems. This is how I got into the sales acceleration world because that's what most people asked from me. And then from
Is
there,
on the sales front. They say, we need to increase our sales. That's the biggest question you get.
yes, the number
Okay.
one questions I get are around lead generation, pipeline, about closing. Right now, it's how to do lead generation with AI.
Mm.
In a few months, probably it will be how to close deals faster. Those were always the problems that I got called to solve for. And I was always sitting in these teams, executive teams, and having to figure it out. And so over 20 years, some things, some processes, they were so useful. They were working across different industries that we started saving them. Okay, let's make this a template. And now we have 274 templates. That's the Sprint University. And those become every couple of years, we share them as a book, right? So the next one is Time Freedom, which is meant to protect your attention. So, for example, a year ago, I would wake up and I had to check all the emails, which one needs a response, then go to my calendar, what's what needs preparation, then go to my CRM. Who do I need to send an offer or to follow up with? You see how the attention is scattered, and my first half an hour would just be context gathering, which is actually an admin task. It's not a strategic executive task. So I was like, this isn't right. This isn't right. If I do this the whole day, I didn't accomplish anything,
Get nothing done.
but I was busy.
Yeah.
So
You can make
this
yourself
needs to
busy.
change. Yeah. So this needs to change. And a few weeks ago with AI, we finally solved that. But it's a big problem. How do you protect your attention on the few things that really matter, like bigger strategic partnerships, being the authority in your niche, filling your pipeline,
Mhm.
and getting referrals from your pipeline? Those are probably four very important things for everybody listening. But then there is so much noise, emails, calendars, CRMs, and maybe even social media posts, etc., content creation. And so what we did last week was to create 3 actual choke points. So I now check only 2 things during a day and everything else gets gathered. So instead of 23 inboxes, Gmail, calendar, CRM, etc., 23 inboxes, we've built AI helpers that gather all of that and then the orchestrator, so it's 45 agents, marketing agents, sales agents, etc.
And they're all AI based, these
They're
agents?
all agents. Yes,
Okay.
they're all AIs. And then they report to the orchestrator at my 7:30 a.m. The orchestrator briefs me 7:45. I sit here 7:45 with a coffee, get briefed by the orchestrator, and then I start my day 8 a.m. with complete presence because I'm not tired from all that context switching.
Yeah.
I did zero admin work, so I don't have that cognitive load. Now I start my day 8 a.m. with actual meetings where I can create value the human way.
Yeah. It's amazing. Now with the summarization that you're getting, do you ever feel like you're missing something? Like, does AI capture everything that you feel it needs to? Or do you think there's still things that slip through the cracks?
It is better than me at finding those patterns because it's a language model. So it can really read emails better than I did.
Mm,
All my meetings, they get saved as a transcript, which is in Markdown. They love Markdown. It's their language. It's a structured language. It's visual enough for me to use, but it's structured so that they can scan it quickly. They know exactly. So, for example, one of my daily, this is from the new book, right? So, pick your top 4 activities every day and
mhm.
do them first thing in the morning. So, my top 4 for April 7th today, I did 3 of 4 so far. Goal is 22. And so this is a coaching tool, one of the 274 coaching tools that we use for people to protect their attention on what really matters, on the highest executive tasks rather than all the noise. So it
And
says
there's tons of noise. There's tons of
there's tons
noise.
of noise. One is I have to move the book forward, one baby step toward the book. It worked. It
Yeah.
comes out in 2 weeks.
Yep.
The other one is I have to make an introduction. I have to introduce 2 people to each other who have the same ideal client, but they have complementary offers. So, for example, they all work with food franchises, but one of them does their marketing and the other one does their accounting, for example. So, hey guys, you should meet because you have the same client but do different things. You might find ways to collaborate. So, that's one introduction that I have to do. And guess what? My weakness, I forget everybody. I go, oh my God, I met this dental guy. He has 200 dental clinics. And then there is PE roll-up guy who is looking to buy dental clinics. So I should
Mhm.
connect dental guy and PE roll-up guy. But I forget the name. What was the name of dental guy? I can't remember. And if you search in Gmail, dental guy, it doesn't, you don't get
I
anywhere.
forget about it. Yeah.
And so forget about it. And so I was lost in these little things. So I went to my CTO, which is an AI, and I said, how do I solve for this? I need to remember people for my introductions. Help me. We brainstormed. He said, well, put all the transcript of all the people you meet and from your CRM into one place on a file level. I will go there every day and I will connect the patterns because that's my strength. It does it and it does it really well. So every day I wake up in the morning, 7:45, come here with a coffee. In my Gmail drafts, there is an introduction ready for me. I just have to click send. And the first times I did rewrite it because it wasn't good. But now after 30 iterations, it's so good. I rarely change anything. I just hit send and I've done my first task for the day with
Mhm.
zero cognitive load.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a big point that you bring up too, is the cognitive load because, so I'm a practitioner. I'd like to say I'm a practitioner of time blocking. I block out 50-minute blocks and I focus on whatever that task is at hand, whether that's putting a plan together for a client or whether that's, answering emails or phone call. It's 50 minutes of focused time. But, seems like it becomes harder and harder to where that 50 minutes is completely uninterrupted. Whether it's the office line ringing, the cell phone ringing, or whatever it may be, or an email coming in that I feel like I have to focus on. But the time blocking, when I'm able to accomplish it, I feel more accomplished. Like I feel better about it because I feel like I'm doing, like you said, I'm working more on things on the business rather than in the business.
Yeah. So when I'm off this call, the orchestrator will have briefed me about what went on the last 60 minutes, and he will just
Hmm.
prioritize what I need to do. So, hey, Simon, this person downloaded something on your website, but they are not an ideal client. I've researched them, nothing that you need to do. I gave this
Wow, it goes that deep,
to
huh?
the other agent. Yeah. Yeah. It's,
Wow.
you can give it skills, which is basically longer checklists. And so you can describe tasks and even bundles of tasks and craft it as a skill. And now that agent has this skill and will use that skill. So you can describe how you
Amazing.
research people. You can describe what your ideal client is, the ICP, and then it can scan for that. And then it will say, but there is this other email that seems rather important. That's your publisher. He wants you to sign the Japan deal. That's something that you need to do now.
So one of the things that you have on your keynote as your work is delivering keynote speeches, and one of the topics that you offer is a keynote on resilience. I mean, as obviously as a triathlete, you have to have some form of level of resilience because whether it's injuries or trying to go farther and faster and on a bike or in the water or running, you have to have a little bit of grit. I'm fascinated by stories of resilience just because I think it's something that people don't like talking about because maybe they feel like they don't have as much grit as they do have. Where did the focus come on for resilience? Where did that speech evolve? Because I'm always fascinated with the topic.
Yeah, back to the beginning, running a business is hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
You will feel low confident, you will feel tired, you will sleep badly. Like I wake up 4:30 in the morning because I can't sleep anymore because in my head there is so many things that I still need to answer or want to do and want to ship and want to deliver. So it is really really tough. And sometimes, for example, setting up a sales system, like a cold email system, for example, that reaches out to people and brings them to your calendar. You know how many times I gave up on building one because it was technically demanding? If you're not very technical, it's very demanding. And so the next year, we picked it up again, and then we gave up because copywriting is also quite demanding. You can write mediocre copy, but then that won't really convert. So you have to get really good at writing interesting emails. And so we gave up for the second time because those emails were still not converting. And that is okay. You will give up on so many things and you will feel tired, and it's totally okay. Also, after every book, I felt like, no, I'm not writing another book. This took me 9 months of labor. No, never again. And then I feel low confidence and very tired. And this is normal as a business owner. This is totally okay. But what we're looking for is resilience systems that make you fall to a level that's okay and that can make you run for a very long time. Because if you just stay long enough in the business, you will outrun all your competitors. They will give up.
Yeah.
Like we're on a podcast here. You know how many podcasts get to 100 episodes?
Well, I think it's less than what one. It's very very few, right? I think less than. Didn't they say most podcasts end don't even make it to 6 episodes? Is that the number?
Exactly. Yes. And
Yeah.
not even 2% get across 100 episodes. So you just need to do 100 episodes. You are in the top 2%.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
this is a fractal for everything else. The same with lead gen systems, etc. If you just keep building it and don't give up, all your competitors will give up if you stay in it long enough. So we have to look at two things. One is how do we protect your attention? And we shared a few systems around that. This book, Time Freedom, is all around that. How do you keep your attention on what are the needle movers and do not get distracted from the little tasks? The second thing you have to look at, and you mentioned athletes, right? How do athletes create
Yeah.
endurance? Well, one part is training with your buddies. So If you still go to the gym, even when it's hard, you probably go because you like the people there. There is some people that you just don't want to miss, right? And you like being around them. Maybe it's the trainer, maybe it's the group, the peers. Similar with group sports, right? If you are in a rowing team, even if everything hurts and it's cold and it's dark outside, you will go there because it's fun to meet your team buddies.
Yeah.
And so create the same thing as a business owner. That's why we are 260 in the Sprint Club and we meet 24/7 in the app. Because when things are tough, we just ask for help. Guys,
Mm.
it's the third time I'm trying this LinkedIn strategy. It just doesn't work. Help.
Yeah. Yeah. The community is huge. I mean, they always say, especially even for like working out, like if you want to be successful, have an accountability buddy that works out with you because, with the days that you don't feel like doing it, the days they're the ones that they'll pull you into the gym or pull you out for that run.
Yeah, you come from the gym frequently when we
Yeah.
meet, right? What is your system that keeps
So, I like to say I have one, Simon, but I just know, I know myself in that I just feel better, not just physically, but mentally. It's almost like that flush, like last night I went for a run at 10 at night at the high school stadium and just ran stairs up and down the stairs for half an hour. And I was like, you know what? I don't feel like coming. It was actually chilly last night. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep, but I was like, I know I'm going to feel better. I know I'm going to wake up better. So my system is really, just that desire just to feel better about things. Again, I at this point in my life, I think it's half mental and half physical. Like I definitely love the physical component of it, but I feel so much better, right?
yeah.
So
And that's something that business owners need to take seriously. Is you need a community, you need peers.
yeah,
Maybe also the trainer gives you energy, having a coach.
yeah,
Like I'm a coach for those 260. That's maybe
right.
one element. You can ask somebody. They have already some blueprints that work already, so you can accelerate your journey. But it's also just venting with the others. Do you also hate it when you say something to the AI and it says, "Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna do it every Tuesday," and then it doesn't, or it hallucinates, or it creates sloppy quality, and then you're just frustrated and you want to just vent about it with the others. I don't know what this hype is all about. My AI is stupid.
Yep, yep.
And then you find out, okay, this is what you can do differently. Oh, okay, okay, okay. And then you can move on.
I think that's a big part of it too, is that people feel in that community, you're able to that venting is actually therapeutic as well because it's like, all right, sometimes you don't want to say, okay, this strategy isn't working for me, but if you're hearing it from the community, if you're hearing it from your peers, then hey, you know what? I'm not alone in this battle. I work with a lot of physicians, and a lot of physicians express how they don't get a lot of training for finance in their schooling and their residency and
Zero.
zero, right? But they're such smart people that they're very resilient or not resilient, very resistant to asking for help. And that's one of the kind of topics in my podcast as I go through and I have physicians come on and I have them talk about their relationship with money because thinking like a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Like if one physician hears about, hey, you know what? I'm not the only one that struggles with my finances. This guy who's a neurosurgeon too, or this guy who's a knee orthopedic surgeon too, having the same problems that I have, like, okay, you know what? It's okay to reach out for help. And that community is huge.
Totally. And we need community. We're not built to do this alone.
Now,
Not at all.
it's more
Historically,
fun.
it's more fun. And historically, we would hunt in tribes. We would hunt in tribes, and then you get to the big bison, and you have to bring that bison back home. You can't do this alone. And so we would organize historically as a human species in tribes, actually, and doing this. And I experienced this when we run sales challenges like the prospecting challenge, the the pipeline challenge, and all that stuff. Things that are dreaded alone become fun when you do them as an activity with others.
It's a great way of putting things, right? You suffer in community kind of thing, and it's not as
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. It's like working out, right? If you do CrossFit alone, it's just torture.
Yeah.
But if you do it with 20 people, with 15 people, and some loud music, can be fun.
and there's laughs there. There's laughs there,
Yeah,
and you're
and you're
looking at
proud. Yeah,
yeah,
you're suffering together, you're not giving up, and then
yeah,
because of the others, and then you cheer each other on, and then fist bump, and you're proud, and you
yeah,
take a picture.
yeah. No, that's huge. That's huge. How many books have you authored? Is it 9?
2.
Two.
So
Okay. Sorry.
strategy sprints strategy sprints in 2022 on how to run a business. Now time freedom with Jay Abraham on how to protect your attention on what really, really matters and build assets that compound like in finance rather than just creating one-off services that will burn you out. But the funny thing
Jay
is,
Abraham is not sorry to interrupt, but Jay Abraham is an author that focuses on very similar type of things as well too. So you guys co-authored this book together.
yes, Jay has created 8 methodologies. He's famous for the strategy of preeminence, which is a marketing strategy, and also for helping entrepreneurs see underutilized assets in their current business
Hmm.
and multiply them and leverage them. So, and those tools are also in the Time Freedom book. And the cool thing is, we sold already a licensing deal to Japan for the manuscript. So the book comes out April 21, but we already sold the rights to Japan to to create the book and sell the book in Japanese. And also the old book is out there in Chinese, Russian, and Japanese now. And the new book still a manuscript. This shows you, and one chapter in Time Freedom is how to do those licensing deals. Because you don't have to tie your time to the value that you create. So that's actually a beginner's mistake. Like, I will work for an hour for you, I will charge you an hour. That's the worst thing you can do, actually. The next best thing is to package and to get paid up front or paid subscriptions, paid monthly. And then the next thing is to completely decouple value creation from your time. For example, the manuscript completely decoupled from my time. I got an advance and now they are doing the work. I'm doing nothing in Japan. I've never been to Japan. I don't plan to go to Japan. But in Japan right now, my IP, my knowledge, my experience that I wrote down is now creating value. And that is capturing monetary value. And some of it is flowing back in form of royalties and licensing fees to Jay and myself. But it's decoupled from our time. And we can now do with the same contract, the same licensing contract, and the results from Japan, we can now go to Brazil, to Mexico, to Canada and say, would you like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so April 21st, the book comes out, and then what's next for you?
It's going to be a fun party. So we have a book launch series with 3 events. And the first one is just sharing the book as an ebook for our community, for our hardcore fans. They get it at the best price because they have built all of this with us. And then the second event, it's super interesting. We made a joint venture with a platform that has hotels everywhere. It's like Expedia, right? And you have hotels in these amazing beachfront places everywhere. And they are not always 100% booked. So sometimes they have 20% rooms just not booked. And so we made this collaboration where whoever buys the hardcover version of our book, which is around $50, they get 1 week family vacation.
Wait, say
And
that
it's
one
a
again.
win-win.
Say that one
A
again.
week. They get a full week family vacation. So it's Time Freedom is the book. You
Yeah,
buy the book, $50, you get a week family vacation in a spot that you pick and choose. How cool is that?
that's amazing.
And that's also one chapter in the book, how to structure joint ventures in a way that becomes win-win-win. Think about it. Hotel, let's say you are a Marriott on, I don't know, Mauritius, right? You have 60 rooms. 6 of them are empty right now. Would you rather have that room empty or have Simon and his family be there because they will eat there, They might use the golf course. They might use some activities. So we will eat, we will drink. You at least you made $500 on our just on our consumption. So you probably want to give us the room for free
Yeah.
if you can't use it, right? And so that's the collaboration. So we have contacted all the rooms that are free, and we said we want to have this for our people, and it's a win-win-win situation.
So that's especially for business owners, right? For business owners who always feel like they can't take vacation. Now they can. You
Exactly.
talk about a win-win. They can get the book, learn some of the strategies that can help them work more on their business, and then take some time off with their family that they probably don't do as much as they should.
Exactly. We'll make it, we'll create a vacation for them. We'll make it so easy for them to say, hey guys, pack your stuff, we go on vacation.
Hmm. Oh, this is fascinating. Okay, so when do the events happen? Do you have the dates?
Yes, it's April 14th.
Okay. And so all of those links and the link to the book on Amazon, the hardcover version, right? The $50 version will be on the website on the links too for YouTube and Spotify, so you can find Simon easily. Um, no, this is fascinating. This is really awesome stuff, and I'm glad that we've gotten to know each other over the last year, and it's I'm psyched for you with the book launch. It sounds really exciting.
Yes, because it's called Time Freedom. It has a dolphin and a beach on the cover. So we were like, okay, what's the appropriate marketing strategy that just doesn't say, oh, there's another book, here's a book. Nobody
Yeah,
needs a book. But what you need is actual time freedom, like create a vacation for me and my family, right? Because I'm working hard here. I need time
yeah.
freedom.
Yeah. And as an entrepreneur as well, you realize that you turn around and you've worked, 60-hour weeks for a long time, and it's a grind. It's a grind. So having that time freedom is massive. It's really massive.
It doesn't get better, right? Because
Right.
if you add employees to the mix, then you have just more meetings
Yep.
and more onboarding work to do. So it doesn't get
Yeah.
better. You have to really change. You have to decouple your time from the value that you create. And you have to implement at least 2 or 3 of those 13 strategies that we share in the book so that you really um, use under under leveraged assets right now, like your knowledge and your network, etc., and other people's networks that you can tap into, like with joint ventures. Because if you don't do that, you will always be in that 60 hours a week,
Yeah.
and it's a
On the
golden
hamster
cage.
wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, spinning on the hamster wheel. So, Simon, I am so thankful that you were able to come and talk about your book and your strategies and vacations. So, thank you very much. Again, I'll have everything linked on the page. But thank you for so much for being here.
Thank you. And many of the tools that we share in the book are already available on our website. If people want to download it for free, it's at strategiesprints.com.
Okay. Okay. Well, that website will be on the link too. So, thank you again. Okay. So, Man in Search of Gold podcast. We're going to sign off. Remember, as the Boy Scouts say, for financial planning, retirement planning, the time to have the map is before you enter the woods. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And Simon, thanks again.
Thank you, Eric. Keep rolling.
Keep rolling. Take care.